Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. There is no better way to spend your time this summer than on the water, whether it's a pontoon boat, deck boat, bass boat, any kind of boat you might have in mind. They've got them all at Madisonville Marine. You can test them all. Take the family down. You're not going to have to go one boat dealer to another. Well, let's go look at pontoon boats. We got to go over here. Well, let's go look for deck boats. We got to go over. Nope, got them all. Madisonville Marine. That's why we tell you there is no better place to buy a boat. All right. David Ubben of The Athletic, who was with us just last week, did a Q&A with former Vol Jonathan Kongbo this past week. It was an exit interview, they called it. Naturally, I didn't schedule David for this week, and boom, his story dropped. What are you going to do? But I wanted to read to you just a couple of clips from that story. The Athletic's a good site, by the way, and to take a look at it, just like Go Vols 24/7 is a good site. Right. I'm going to give you a plug in a minute, Ryan. Here's what was said. It's a Q&A. David asked him, was there optimism within the roster the past couple of years? Woo, hell no. No. So how would you assess players' attitude toward the program now? Those guys, they actually believe it now. I like it because I see myself in a lot of them, believing they'll win a national title. They're saying it, and they put in the work behind it. They're doing it all now. Being around those guys, they really think like next year, in their mind, they're about to show people a lot of people up. Whereas before, guys were like, man, this place is BS. People couldn't wait to leave. People couldn't wait for their 3 years so they could enter the draft, all right? And then the next one, this is going to challenge my eyesight. What was the toughest thing for players to get used to when Pruitt took over? The work. It was just different, man. The work went up by 100. We were going hard. They were killing us. We had a new off-season fourth quarter program. We felt good. We felt optimistic. He talks about how they thought they were going to beat West Virginia. And then he says, that was the big thing, the workload and how much football we were doing. That's what helped me when I compare my first 2 years to my last year. Is a big difference, the football aspect they put in. We were learning playbooks. We were learning formations. It was just a different investment in the players, whereas before it was like, let's go get a couple of 5 stars and hope they're fire and go out there and ball. Now it's like, we'll actually develop them. It's a developmental program now, when before it wasn't like that. Well, that doesn't sound very good that they didn't learn formations in the previous regime. But we are behind, so I'm going to ask you this question very quickly. We've heard this song and dance before. When Lane Kiffin took over for Philip Fulmer, everything came out of the program, so much tougher now. It's tougher, it's better, it's stronger, everything's different. When Dooley took over for Kiffin, now here's a guy we can trust. Here's a guy that's better.
Good
Jones
fit.
took over for Dooley. Oh, man, he's not that jerk that Dooley was. This is much, and now you're hearing it again. So my question, do you believe it this time with Jeremy Pruitt? And by the way, Kongbo actually, he also added, and honestly, a lot of it has changed because Coach Fulmer, he does what it takes to win. Okay. Do you buy it now because it's Pruitt and Fulmer? Or are you, having seen this and talked about this for the last 17 years, are you a skeptic?
Skeptic with a capital S.
I am too.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be.
Have to. At this point, yeah.
Skeptic.
Yeah.
I am too, but I read the article and I thought there were some things he said that hit home. One being, he said, players love Butch, but he said if there could be just a position, kind of a manager of things, Butch would be that. But for football, Pruitt.
I buy, like Mike said, there's some things in that story that I thought hit home and were good points on Jonathan Kongbo's part. I think there's no football coach out there that all 85 players on the roster truly believe things are going perfectly. But
right.
in Kongbo's case, individually, I have no doubt he thinks things are going in the right direction. He played for a coach that got him in the position he wanted to play, all that stuff. He had a good year, was on pace for a good year before he got injured. So I think his experience with Jeremy Pruitt very positive, and I think there is some truth to some of the things he saw. So I would say skeptical, but I see some truth there too.
I'll say this, a little less skeptical.
Yeah.
Than I had been before, but still skeptical. I mean, we've seen this and heard this before. That's to me, I've been through this, so we'll see if it's true or not.
Say something happens to Pruitt and Jim Chaney takes over next year. I bet you would have players saying, man, under Chaney, it sure did turn around quick.
I have a hard time believing they weren't studying playbooks or formations. So.
Yeah, that seems a bit
That's
much.
a couple of games.
All right. We will ask our recruiting expert, that guy, Ryan Callahan, what's up with Tennessee recruiting? They're 9th in the SEC right now. It's early, but did we expect a slow start? Come on back.